On today's episode of WatchJRGo, I am in my shop pulling the engine out of the Mini Cooper because I know everybody wants to see that done, but I just got an emergency call to get the trailer hooked up to the truck and go get a crazy electric car that I don't think anyone's ever seen before. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we are headed out immediately to go get a car that I don't think I've even heard of before. So we are gonna hook the truck and trailer up right now, get over there, it's not terribly far away, and pick up a car and a motorcycle or something like that. I don't know the specifics, I just know that we're supposed to be there. We are here with Brandon from Sullivan Auto House, and he reached out to me and said he's got two vehicles over here that he needs to get over to his shop or get running or get sold. There's a lot of ways this could go. And here we are with the vehicle here, a Weego all-electric, a Weego Whip. I mean, it's a pretty good name.
It is a sweet name.
So it'd be cool if we could whip it out of here, but let's go check it out. Let's walk over there, check out the Weego, and then also along with that is another electric vehicle that's very cool. Look at this thing. This is an electric Vectrix scooter here. It might be called a Revolution. Ride the Revolution. All right, it was made in Middletown, Rhode Island. Okay, well, the manual was made in Middletown, Rhode Island. And you can see it looks like most of the other high-end, like the big 700cc scooters, it looks like a monster. And I did open up the back here and plug it in because that didn't take too long to figure out. You push in on the key and then open helmet storage like that. And then this opens up and then this monster cable looking braided clear cable comes out. This is all flex, classic 110. So a very interesting German power cord here in the back of this thing. Ooh, a charging update. This might be critical to us. So issued the 30th of October 08. Dealer has loaded new software to improve the battery handling. Oh, this could be a lithium. This could be a lithium, but I went ahead and plugged it in hoping that it might light up. We did check this thing out for a minute here, and it's very cool. It's got a hub motor on it, a gigantic hub motor. It has SOX suspension. Apparently Vectrix is like all the other EV companies in the US that are just no expense spared when they build stuff. Kind of like those three-wheelers that Rich had. Brembo brakes, nice big old discs on it, probably because it has a lot of weight. Pirelli tires, and they're probably original. And yeah, this was an 08, sold in 2016, and we don't think it has moved in the last 10 years. It also has a huge battery compartment underneath it with Vectrix stamped in there. So that's the scooter. It has not turned on. So I think we're gonna go ahead and just get this loaded up. Let's try turning it on. Okay, nothing. And then of course, many of you will say you can't turn on things that are charging, obviously. And I have tried unplugging it. Pretty funny, the charger rolls up inside it and turning it on and we have nothing. So she's dead. She's dead, Jim. And now we're gonna roll up that charging cord just the way it was before. Put it back in here and, oh, you have to close the spring. All right. There we go. The seat's closed and the Vectrix is ready to move. The tires, surprisingly, at least the rear tire, have air in them. So that is the Vectrix electric here. And check it out. We can finally see the front of it. What a good looking bike. This looks like cops would ride this in the future. So this is very cool. I love the way it looks. Unfortunately, also very dead. Maybe we can bring it back to life, who knows. And Brandon is over here uncovering the Weego and getting pretty close. So let's check this thing out too. We have here the chrome door handles for the Whip. So I did call Aging Wheels about this and told me the door handles are how you know what the car is because there's no other branding. It just says Weego. They don't tell you what it is. It looks like a smart car. It says Weego all electric, but the door handles are how you know it's a Whip. So this is the first one from what I know here. Coming inside, it looks like a smart car. We've got lots of cool power stuff, power windows, power mirrors, power locks. Apparently a cable to open the charging port. All right, and we have located the charger too. It was right here. So now, Globetron. We just go like this. It's not a normal power connector, unfortunately, and it only charges at 110. Ooh! What's that mean? Okay. We've got a green light. Green, green, green. 3 green.
What?
3, oh, now 2 red fast. I don't know. We had some charger status here as this thing started up, that's interesting. Let's hop inside, guys. So what do we have here? Is this heated lights or is it just fog light, fog light? Kind of weird. It could also be front and rear fogs. Very interesting. She's very dead. Key. You have to actually put the key in. And we have nothing. All right. So it smells a little like cat pee in here, which is interesting. We have a bunch of fake lights that Robert told me is because these are supposed to look like smart car controls, but they left everything out. JVC head unit, very cool. USB-N, very cool. And cute little glove box. All right, the vents are the coolest part. These are like little RTD2s. Robert did also tell me this will not go highway speeds. It'll only go 25 mile an hour if it's working completely, which is wild. But it would be cool to drive it. So that's the Weego Whip. I guess we're just gonna go ahead and unplug it here. Wow, that connector really works. Ah, got it. Gotta cover up our charge port connector there with what is literally a rubber cap with a leash attached to it. And we'll close that up. It's got cool taillights. I mean, this thing's pretty cool looking. And it looks like we're about ready to back it up and try to move it. Okay, here. Let's steer it over like this. Oh yeah, good idea. And then, yeah, now, yep. All right, and let's take the scooter out. Okay, so that we got some room.
You know, I've still never ridden a motorcycle my entire life.
What?
And I got that Triumph. I keep thinking maybe I'm going to have to try it on that.
And we got the Vectrix and the Weego on the trailer. I haven't tied down the Vectrix yet, but I will here in just a second. That's a pretty good looking rig right there. We're gonna go rinse these off real quick and get them over to the house to do a little troubleshooting. We might be able to make this Weego go. Just like that, we are back in the shop with the Weego and the Vectrix. They're both unloaded. We stopped at the car wash real quick and sprayed them off because they were just covered in 10 years of dirt. Well, maybe 9, but at least 9 years of dirt. So they were filthy and now they're looking pretty okay, honestly. Luckily the wheels came out easily and I don't really think it had been driven at all because the tires look brand new all the way around the Weego. Speaking of tires, they are tiny. These are probably 14s. 15s, 195, 50, 15s. It's got cute little disc brakes in the front. Those might be, I don't know, they're smaller than a normal dinner plate, 8 inches, 7 inches, and then 4 lug on the wheels. The wheels look really, really good. You got to give them some credit there. Can't beat that wheel design. And it's not staggered or anything. They're the same front to back. The back is drum brakes, which is very interesting. And then the rest of this thing is a very knockoff smart car. There's no two ways about it. It looks like a smart car and it's roughly the same size, which was nice. We got it on the trailer easily. And it's also very old. Of course, you guys knew it was very old from the moment I mentioned it is all lead acid batteries. So Weego Electric Cars Inc. 2009, 7 of 09 is when it was built. So it seems like it should be relatively new, but it's an antique car in reality. Everything about it screams old. They didn't integrate any modern tech here. The gauges are custom, which is kind of cool. Wow, that's not a sound you want to hear with your horn. And a button that gets stuck. That's the worst thing you could hear with a horn button. These are very Chinese, nothing like the smart Mercedes quality. Really the nicest thing about this car is that JVC head unit. That is very nice. So the seats also look really cool. A very sporty looking seat, and it's pretty cushy. It's got like some sport textile there, and this is kind of hollow, the way a few cars have had headrests like that with like mesh netting in them. But I think the next thing on our to-do list here is open this thing up. So let's find, I think I left the key in it. Key is in it. Ooh, look at that. Key battery's not dead. That's a W. And it has remote locks, which is something. A lot of these early EVs didn't. It even has rear defrost, which is also something. And what a strange antenna. And also, okay, it's all just dirt. There was so much dirt on it that even after washing it, there's still dirt coming out. So, pop that. Then we have a truck tailgate here. Let's get our key back. Gotta go like that, go like that. And we have opened up the hatch, which is huge and roomy. And apparently in China, the Weegos were sold as 4-seaters. They even have speakers for the rear passengers in there, 3-inch speakers. So I don't know what the fronts are. 6.5, good deal. So the JVC can probably put a little bit of real audio through those speakers, can't beat that. And I think these also secretly have 5-speed transmissions. Like I said, I talked to Aging Wheels about this for a minute, and he said there's a guy that went, I think 100 and almost 20 mile an hour in one of these. So they're speed capped to 25 mile an hour by Weego. So they only have second gear. The transmission is permanently fixed in that gear, and you can't ever shift. There's no way to shift the transmission. It only has forward, neutral, reverse. You can see it says that right there on the shifter, and there's a lift up collar. No matter what you want to do, you have to lift the collar. That's forward, that's neutral, that's reverse, and they spring back. So if you just pull up, it'll always go back to the center. Nice little hand e-brake. The JVC remote's in here for the system. That's kind of cool. But like I was saying, 5-speed Cherry transmission, and if you do unlock it, the motor has some real power. That guy also put Tesla packs in his, but the motor does have some real power, and it could motivate the car a little bit if you can shift it. So from the factory, they made sure you couldn't shift it. It is a very slow, it's like, it was probably sold as a LSV or a low speed vehicle. What I do know is we need to get inside this thing. That's the charging cord right here. Anybody who knows EVs or has ever seen one in their lives will know this is weird. So a normal GFCI cord end, right? So this is pretty standard. They bought that pre-crimped even, it looks like. You can buy that just about anywhere. It goes on most equipment, like a drain snake, stuff like that. They'll have those GFCIs on the cord. Blow dryer, and then it has this commercial, like a little industrial plug on here. That's a Globetron 16A or a 2P plus G, and inside here it's literally just an extension cord. You've got hot, neutral, and ground, and the same thing in here. And then an onboard charger that charges these batteries. Let's get the spare tire out of here. This is the bag for the charger, and honestly, a very nice bag, and it looks like it might even have a manual in it. Look at that! There's an owner's manual. This is a 2010. Wow, it was made really early in 2009 to be a 2010, but notice to first responders, master disconnect is behind the passenger seat. Push the red button, all power will be disconnected. Hey, let's go see. Flip this seat forward. There's a big red button. Okay. Disconnected, reconnected. That's a good click. It's reconnected. All right, we've got our battery. And what else do we need to know? Does this tell us charging? It's gotta be under 6. Hey, wow. I did that randomly, guys. So it's a Delta Q, Qi Q, HF, PFC battery charger hiding inside here. And what does 2 flashing red mean? So these are flooded lead acids. Battery low voltage, check battery size and reset charger. Ah, so it thinks the batteries are too dead. I think it thinks the batteries are too dead to charge it. Well, if that's the case, let's get this trim out of here and expose what I can only assume is the batteries. I mean, it just makes sense that the floor moves. All right, you guys can see, unfortunately, this thing has had mice in it, which is very gross. But that happens when things sit for 10 years. Let's get this out of here. And now, batteries covered. That is nasty. There is poop everywhere. The entire thing is covered in poop. And the cover's made out of wood. Look at that. This is a 1/4-inch plywood with carpet wrapped over it. Weird. Oh, it stinks under there. As soon as I let that top back down, the air pushed out and hit me in the face, and I wish I wouldn't have been taking a breath right then, I can tell you that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and suck all the poop out of here with the vacuum real fast before we get busy working on this. Are these? These are plastic or something. Those are plastic I-beams. Fiberglass, plastic, I can't tell, but if you take a look in there, that's interesting. I've never seen anything like that before. But let's get this cleaned up and then we can go to work on it. All right guys, let's see how dead these batteries are. This is our first look into the batteries in this thing. 1.4 volts. I'd say that's low. 0 volts. Is that a bad connection? Nope, 0 volts. Here we go again. 0.8. Wow. Dead. 1.7. 1.7's not bad. That's something. 0.1. She's real dead. Let's see what we got over here at the main fuse. You guys won't see this, but I'm gonna go over here and check real quick. All right, coming out of the pack, in total here, we have 10 volts. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's not right, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Huh, I thought there were more batteries. So we've got 12 battery, 144 volts is our nominal system voltage. And it's probably closer to 160 volts with overages. Well, all we can really do here is hook chargers up and start trying to make these individually come back to life. So let's put a charger on it. Well, I'm trying to get this thing to the point where the car's charger takes over and starts charging all the batteries at the system voltage, which is ideal. But this thing is a nightmare to get on and off every single time. So let's slather some dielectric grease in here and see if we can make this thing stop being absolutely terrible to work with. Every time I connect it, it takes all my force to get it disconnected from the car here. And there's some dirt down inside the connector, but only at the very bottom, so there we go. That's all it needed was a little dielectric grease. Honestly, that's too much. So now I'm gonna wipe the pins off. I think we've got it sufficiently worked in. Yeah, I'm gonna wipe everything off now. And hopefully our troubleshooting goes much better next time. As you can see over here, we've got the system voltage up to 22.26 because we've got a power sport battery hooked up to the first battery in the set here, and then the charger hooked up to that because the charger wouldn't charge. It just keeps saying sulfated, right? And it's not wrong. I need my restoring battery charger that's not over here. So I think I'm gonna jump in the car, go get another battery charger. We'll just put chargers on every single one of them at once. I don't have that many actually, but I wish I did. If I did, I think this would be very easy. Oh yeah, that dielectric grease even makes the plastic look nice. All right, everything's cleaned up in our connector here. Let's clean everything up on the pin side. What an annoying charger to hook up. Whoever came up with this hopefully got fired. Obviously, I think the company's gone, but you have to open the cap yourself and then hold it while you put it down onto the charging pins, and then it rubs on the vehicle's paint. That should be illegal in any country. How cool are the taillights though? Those are sick. I love that. Well, I found some more fun news. The GFCI on this thing is actually bad. I think it's because this pin here is loose, and maybe it's been dropped a few times too, because you shouldn't be able to just pull it apart like that. So unfortunately, the old GFCI on the cord here won't reset. It resets and then trips immediately. And if you wiggle it, it starts to work again. So it's broken internally. I think it got dropped too many times, and it's been wet. You can see it's been pretty wet there. So this should definitely have a GFCI on it, but I think I'm gonna grab a new cord end and slap on a standard 110 volt end just to get this thing charging again, because we might be getting close to a point where the onboard charger will turn on without the low voltage warning. All right, a new cord end, and immediately, uh-oh, Well, we got a flashing light. At least there's a status light hiding inside this thing. We have the low voltage light, apparently. Ooh, the charger pulled the voltage down and is currently pulling it down. That's crazy. So we've got over here 99% and 12 volts on our one battery. And we were at 22 volts system. And then when I plugged the charger in, the voltage actually dropped. Very interesting.
A few minutes later.
I'm running out of jumper cables here. I don't want to disconnect them all and take 5 days to do this. I'd rather just rip through, but we now have 3 batteries charging. If I can just get enough voltage in the rest of them to start this charger on them, it might all charge in a night. We might have some real system voltage going on. And the thing is, this charger is starting up now. We're getting 6 flashes. 6 red flashes means charger internal fault. I don't think that's real. I think it's just upset that it's being actively charged while it's trying to charge and everything's freaking out at once. And also high internal resistance, right? Because the packs are probably garbage. It needs all new batteries. But as long as we can avoid putting batteries in it, everything's gonna be okay here. 45.9 and maintaining, so that's something. I could probably make this charger dump in a lot more power, but it doesn't like to see those batteries as working. When I plugged the charger in though, it added 1. So I'm gonna go hook up more leads and see if we can get 3 more batteries on here. And that might get us up to close to 70 volts. That did it, look at the battery tender. We got 3 of the channels running, even though they're all hooked up, which is pretty funny. But as soon as the charger connected, it actually started charging and the car woke up and the voltage on the meter went to 128 volts. So for a second there, we were charging, which means it's time for us to let all of this charge for a little bit. We're gonna let this sit for an hour and hopefully plug in the main charger again and bring this thing on. Now, it was so upset about what was going on with it, you know, because it's in such a low voltage state. The car is like flicking on and off as fast as it can. So unfortunately, we are in trouble. It's gonna take a little time for these batteries to wake back up, but we might be able to get the car on. I mean, it's sitting there going, "Grr." I mean, I'll just show you, it's so easy. All right, here we go, e-stop in. Set brake. Okay, I'll set the brake. Head unit coming up. That's the DC-DC probably, because it doesn't look like they tapped a 12. Normally you just tap a 12, I don't know why they didn't. It could be that back one, but it actually looks like, all right, stop it. It actually looks like they use a DC-DC to go back from 144 to 12 again somehow. So who knows, maybe they wanted to kind of protect it and put the load across all the packs, but there is also a chance that those 2 wires right there are the 12 for the car. It just doesn't seem like that's what they did. It kind of seems like they are using the entire pack and using this for like battery management, even though there's not really much battery management here. But nonetheless, charging, charging, charging. And charging and charging. So, and this thing is, it's taking a beating here, this little baby battery tender. I need a couple more of my big chargers and I bet we could make something happen. Unfortunately, we lost our system voltage because when you push the e-stop in, the e-stop only disconnects between these 2 rows of batteries, which is interesting. So 36 volts of it gets isolated when you pull the e-stop out. I mean, it breaks the pack. It's got a giant fuse there to protect the car or the system from a short, but only 1. I mean, this is a pretty terrible design, but it's really all the old EVs. The super old lead acid EVs are all kind of like this. It's charging! Well, it was charging. I'm pretty sure 1 green light means charging, but the meter is showing that the system is upset. Wildly upset. Also because the DC-DC keeps trying to turn on. I wish I could disconnect the car. It turns out there's supposed to be an onboard 12 volt in the Weego as well. Look at this. We have gotten this thing to actually wake up here. So I've got another 12 volt battery connected right here to this ground bus that's supposed to go on, like, you know, lawnmower battery, motorcycle battery, whatever you want to use there. And then there's AC, which is cool. And a little air compressor right there that we did actually hear turn on. You know what? That's a vacuum pump. It's a vacuum pump for the booster. So it looks like one of those cute little air compressors you'd use in air suspension, but the reality is they're using that to vac down power brakes. And then here is our drive unit and inverter and all that fun stuff. No inverter, it's DC, what am I talking about? But motor controller. So that's sitting right here, and it's got some little cute CVs coming out of the bottom of it, and pressure transducers on the AC and everything. Nice ones. It's always funny when they can't do it like the OEMs, so they actually have nice pressure transmitters. Electric wipers, cool looking lights, and now the cool thing here is the charger will wake up. We're at a 58 volts system right now. So let's see, go ahead and hit range. I don't know why it's not auto ranging. There it goes, that's better. For some reason the MD88 does not like going back into auto. What a weird meter, I should sell it just because of that. Auto ranging is the point of multimeters. Anyway, now we have 100, in my hand I hold 120 electrons. Maybe more electrons, I don't know what kind of unit that is. But now we're gonna plug in the main charger here. Here we go, guys. Sounds, 30 volts, 128. We have 128 volts on the system now that it's charging, but it doesn't keep charging. It hunts around, it notices the voltage is dropping instead of maintaining. 136, it bumps up, and now it disconnects. So now it's back out of the circuit, and the system voltage drops by a ton, down to 44.7, which is ridiculous. And the charger says it's charging, but it's not. And I don't know what to do now. I don't know if I should just try. Now it's kicked out of the circuit altogether, I think. We've got 58.3, which is what all of these chargers are putting out together. So this charger just turned on its fan, not the main. So I'd love to just leave this on and let it try to charge, but I just don't think it is. So we disconnect it, green light turns off. And now we're back to our chargers here on the tailgate. So that is the status of the Weego. And with our 12 volt battery in the front, all the 12 volt stuff works again, as you would expect. So now we know how they were doing this. There is a DC-DC hiding up in the front, and they weren't tapping a single battery out of the rear. So this is just your, what would you call this? Your traction pack. And then you of course have your auxiliary 12 volt battery like any car would up front to power all the systems, turn the hazards on if you're sitting on the side of the road, the key, unlock and lock, all this stuff, you know, it all works perfectly now. The system works, all the lights are turning on. I just don't want to keep getting in there and turning things on because it draws down the pack back here when the motor controller and DC-DC wake up in the front. And it looks like they made all that in-house. Really cool. It's all one piece, so very, very cool. We're gonna have to keep letting this charge. I can't get too ahead of myself. We probably just need to charge the batteries that are hooked up and then switch completely to a whole different set of batteries. That's really the only thing to do. And also, I'm just gonna go ahead and move this one because it keeps showing that it's fully charged. I mean, that one could be dead shorted or something like that. All right, now it shows it might be charging. Interesting. The others are charging, so good enough for me. Now let's talk about the Vectrix. So I just got off the phone with 100% Jake, electric connoisseur. I'm just calling all the EV YouTubers today to laugh at these things, and we're all having a great time. It's a crazy time period. People are just making all kinds of insane stuff. But we talked about our monster cable here. He looked this thing up, and he says it'll go 60 miles per hour. There is no mention of range, but the pack is not lithium, it's nickel metal hydride. And while I was digging around in here, I saw this earlier, and I was like, huh, what's this nonsense right here? And I looked at it and didn't think anything of it, but then a second ago I looked at the voltage, and look at that, the output is 70 volts, which tells you a story very quickly. System voltage, 144 volts. It's actually not, I think it's actually 128 or something is what Jake said. But they probably were using this as an external charger to get the Vectrix working. So maybe the real charger is just trash. There is a good chance the main charger on this bike is no good. After looking around in here, because we were looking at these very expensive Brembos that, you know, never get old. It doesn't matter if the thing works or not, the brakes work and they're fancy. But guess what's under here? That same monster cable. It runs up to right here and I can feel it turn, and then there's a 90 right here pointing straight up into this big old brick. And I think that is the charger for this thing. So I think it's pretty funny that there's a cord that runs all the way through the body right up to here, and that's the charger. What we need to find is a way to access the battery on this thing, and maybe we could use these two Meanwell power supplies, which obviously that's the name in power supplies right there. We could use those to charge it. So, I don't really have any information about this thing. I do have the manual. I'll skip through it, but I don't think that's gonna help. I think the real thing to do here is take the seat off and see if we can find a way to get to the battery pack. If there's any access to it, we could hook those up, and that would get this charging, and we might be able to ride this too. That thing will probably move. It might only move 2 or 3 feet, but it'll probably move. It's also really dumb, right? It's just a bunch of car batteries, so what could be easier than a bunch of car batteries? This is much more complicated, and I don't know if we're gonna make this work, but I'm gonna try. Let's get the seat off. Well, we are inside the Vectrix. If you wanna know how to take one of these apart, the answer is open this, pull the seat off, 2 10 mils hold the seat on, take out the switch that senses if the back seat, the helmet storage here is open or closed, and then pull off the foot pads there, and then all the screws are underneath the foot pads, and it's a rack of Phillips. And then if you want to expose your actual battery pack, you take out a ton of tins again, and that giant piece right over there comes out, which is most of the scooter in that one injection molded piece of plastic. Also has the fan connector. There's power right here that runs into the top of the cover that has fans that force air across the batteries, and then you see your giant field of nickel metal hydride batteries, which is pretty funny. Old school battery tech here. Nice BMS, look at that. They have a real BMS. Okay, well it dumps all the cells into just 4 wires there. This is very, very made in America. Look at this, all the labels automatically conditioned 01, 07 of 08, and they've got pack voltages, charge cycles, it's got initials on it. Here is the BMS and motorcycle controller here, probably the whole motor controller, and that's all very nicely done. And then take a look at how they did all the split loom. So everything is labeled incredibly well. Front of vehicle, J2 connector, front vehicle. Everything is labeled like this, like brake switch, J21 switch. Everything is so well labeled, and this probably cost way too much. Like, I think these were $10,000, but they were supposed to have 170 miles of range. And there are Anderson connectors in the battery, which is crazy. So, assuming, I don't know if this is the motor feed, I haven't figured out where power comes out of the pack, right there. This is power out of the pack, so this must disconnect the 2 packs in those Anderson connectors right there. That looks right. They use that big, thick copper right there into an Anderson connector that's meant to have round copper in it, which is kind of funny. Maybe they crimped something on the end. But this disconnects the 2 packs, apparently. They're huge. And then this is our output. We can't exactly see it, but I need to hook up to this so I can try to make those Meanwell chargers run this thing, and I simply have not found a way in. So unfortunately, I guess I need to start here, maybe pull the cover off of it. Hey, look at that, I can access it. All right, I'll just grab some vice grips and hook up those Meanwell chargers and see what happens. Hopefully nothing lights on fire. I know these Meanwells aren't meant to do this, and they are screaming for dear life. But we have it hooked up to the pack, and the voltage is rapidly building into the pack. So it started at about 29, and honestly, I think it's working. I mean, this thing could turn on. It could literally turn on. It might take 3 or 4 days of this, but it doesn't feel like it's melting. Temps seem okay. This is the most real-time thing that's ever happened on YouTube. 29 to 75 volts in 45 seconds or so. Anyway, look at how this is built with all these break-offs on the split loom. They use those little, I mean, we've all seen them before, but those T things for split loom that are very nice instead of just taping the wires out like an actual OEM would. These boots on split loom, I mean, come on. All of that could have been electrical tape and should have been electrical tape in any production environment. Car manufacturers don't even do this nonsense. So it's really well done, but at the same time, that's why you end up with a $10,000 scooter when you could, today you could have a Harley Livewire that's 100 times the bike. 90 volts, ripping. I want to turn it on, but that might let the smoke out. 92, it's slowing down rapidly. Now if we could just get the car to do the same thing. Come on, car. In a few minutes here, I mean, it's been on the chargers for an hour. I'll rotate all the batteries and we'll keep our charging regimen going on. And maybe if we can get all the batteries to 5 volts, 6 volts, it might be enough for the main charger to kick in. I was sitting over there in my chair by the toolbox looking up some of the specs on this thing, and I just, out of the corner of the eye, I saw a white flash. And then I heard a click when I walked over here. And I think it's something in the pack. We are charging the whole pack, so this should be super safe. But I need to start checking voltages a few other places just to see what's going on here. Oh! There was a tiny little white spark out of the top of that BMS connector. Oh, there's resistors on those BMS connectors. You guys can't see them, but that's where the flash came out of that PCB right there. I just saw a tiny little flash. All right, let's do a little probing around and see what's going on before we keep forcing all this voltage into this thing. Oh, I lost my, there we go. We're still charging. 114. I mean, we're getting close. I should probably go get a bucket of water and a fire extinguisher too. At least they're nickel metal hydride. They're not gonna run away like a lithium could. The Vectrix turns on. It is alive. The funniest thing about it is I turned it on and it said ready. It did say the battery was at the lowest possible setting, but it turned on and it said it was alive. Now, I figured out what's going on with the charger and everything like that, because whenever you plug it in, nothing happens, right? Now you plug it in and the gauges turn on immediately when you plug in the cord here. So weirdly, there must be some power coming off the charger somehow. But I came in here and I was like, let's poke around some more, because while I was in here looking at this, I noticed there was definitely a connector that was unhooked. And this is why it was unhooked. They were hooking up the power supplies right here. This must come from the battery. That's all I can think. Also, look at this ridiculous connector. This is what you'd normally use in like an industrial automation environment. Nothing you would ever want to use on a motorcycle. It's a Harting connector that probably cost, I mean, a dumb amount of money is the answer. It also looks like it might have a GFCI reset in it. Why does it have a red button? Anyway, that's unhooked. It's supposed to be plugged into this charger right here. So maybe, now that we've got some power in the pack, we can start this thing up. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook the charger up, and then we'll switch over real quick and see if the onboard charger starts running this bike. The onboard charger is hooked back up now. All right, start charging. 124s. There it is. The bike's awake. Shouldn't be. I don't know why it is. The key's out. How stupid. A fan! Thank God! 140! 144! Ooh. I didn't like that sound. That's the spark sound. Ready. Oh. Ooh. It just kicked off. Dropping rapidly. Alright, I think we're gonna go ahead and unhook that charger. Yeah, she gave up. She shut down. Alright, we're gonna unhook that, go back to the mean wells, and let it keep charging for a bit with brute force. Not bad though. Stabilizing at 140. Not bad. In a very interesting turn of events, the mean wells stopped screaming at 141.6 and just stabilized completely. So we're not seeing a drop, which we would be if they weren't charging, but the power supply shut up. So I think she's charging and we just need to let it sit. And then hopefully we can switch back to the onboard charger and actually make a little progress here. The smoke came out. Ooh, it smells like pure electrical fire. And I knew it was going to. It's these resistors from the BMS. You see where my finger is right there? Those resistors caught on fire. It already looked black from before, and now, like, I think they're all smoked, which is wild. I mean, what else are you supposed to do to charge the pack? So at least they're just surface mount resistors. Look, it's still on fire. There was a couple flashes. I don't know if you guys saw that. And the power, nothing's hooked up right now. So now I'm a little afraid. I'm a little scared now. Don't light on fire, please, whatever you do. But it got a pretty big flash out of it, and then the smoke rolled. So, whatever, let's switch back to the big charger and see. It probably won't charge at all anymore because it can't balance properly, but let's see. It sure is cool looking. Charger started. 94 miles. This was only driven 94 miles. No more smoke, please. I need to delete the resistors, honestly. Just dump them directly into the cells. Just kidding, this charger doesn't care at all. Now that it's at the actual voltage it wants to see, it's just charging, baby. A lot slower than the mean wells were, but it's charging. This needs pushed outside, all the way out in my driveway as far as it can go, and then left on the charger all night long. Well, unfortunately, we have hit a small snag here. The charger has decided the Vectrix is completely full, and now when I start it up, it says it's full. So I just plugged the charger in, and now the bike wakes up, does its gauge sweep. It doesn't show that it's plugged in, even though there's a plug-in icon on the LCD. That's kind of funny. But it shows it's completely full. And the charger comes online, bumps us up to the voltage we would like to see here, about 150 volts, about 350. And now in a handful of seconds, ooh, I heard another fire. I'm getting tired of these things catching on fire. I just talked to Aging Wheels again, and he was also wondering why the balance pads have resistors on them. Anyway, the voltage just dropped like a rock. Let's unplug it. Let's give it a second here. Wake the bike up. Maybe once the headlight turns on, it'll suck some power out of this thing. All right, she's alive. 144 volts. Headlight? Headlight's on. Wow, I wasn't expecting this. I think I can ride it. It says ready. Ooh, I know why it's not ready. It wants the switch. Guys, it doesn't care about this switch. Ready is flashing no matter what. Maybe the non-ready is the kickstand. You can see the kickstand lights on there. Our pack voltage is kind of holding on 141. The switch turns on the trunk light. I mean, it's pretty baller that this had a trunk light though. I'm not gonna complain about that one bit. All right, let's sit on this thing somehow and see if she moves. 30 minutes later, the Vectrix is outside and alive. Check this out. Here we go, nice sweep. Now, for some reason, kickstand up. There you go, you see the light shut off. It says ready. Wow, you can barely see the gauges at night. I think you have to squeeze both brakes. Okay, after you squeeze both brakes, you get go. And what's really funny is if it knows you're in reverse. Look at this. I'm backing up. Reverse. All right, don't die on me. I don't want to push this monster. It weighs a ton. And I also don't have the seat, so I'm just sitting on that plastic battery cover here. Oh, she's dropping quick. Dropping quick. Oh. Don't die, girl. All right, I gotta turn around. She's dead. Well, I got to ride the Vectrix, which is very exciting. I made it to the end of my driveway and a little bit of the way back, but really it was dead and I was kind of giving it a push, and it was luckily downhill a little bit. So they made it 150 foot, something like that. Unfortunately, the next step is probably to save that thing, get a balancing charger and connect every single one of those batteries to the balancing charger. And there are 18 in each pack, right? So 36, if I remember right. I think that's how many connections you would need to those batteries to actually bring it back to life. And it is outside now with an extension cord running out of the garage, because if it does catch on fire, well, I don't want it catching on fire in here. But I've got the Meanwell hooked back up to it again. The onboard charger kicks on, waits about 30 seconds, decides the pack is at the right voltage, and shuts back off. So unfortunately, it tries to charge about 10% over the pack voltage. The Meanwell sits right at the pack voltage, which is good. and will continuously charge it. Unfortunately, you don't want to leave any batteries, even nickel metal hydride, on a constant supply like that. So I'm gonna leave it on for about 30 minutes, maybe 1 more hour. I thought I might throw a little more time at it and really be able to go ride it on the street. But the reality is you need to balance the cells, and it might come back, and there's also a good chance it's not coming back. This thing, however, is much easier. Those CAN cells that are in that scooter, probably a lot harder to work on. This thing, very simple to work on. It's just a bunch of car batteries, and we have made pretty good progress. They are all charging now. Well, all of my chargers that I have are charging batteries now, and they're all coming up, which is great. So we're getting close to 12 volts on all these batteries, and we'll move on to the next ones. And you know, all these chargers should get us nice and balanced out. We can use the battery tenders to make sure we get a good balance out of all of them. And then it might not go very far, but this thing should move. So we'll keep hitting the batteries and bringing the voltages up. Unfortunately, this has no way to balance. It has a very, very dumb charger. So I'd rather try to get some juice into all of the batteries before we get the onboard charger really going. But I think we're getting much, much closer to getting the onboard charger to work, and this thing should move. Who knows how far it's gonna go, but it'll move. So all that's left to do now is wait. It's a whole lot of hurry up and wait. So if you happen to find a bunch of old EVs in a barn, I just want you to know the right course of action is to buy all new batteries and start swapping. And of course, the version after the whip, like Aging Wheels has lithiums, which are going to be much, much better and have real range, real output capacity. Those things can really crank the power out of their cells, and those ones go highway speeds. This one won't go highway speeds unless we modify the transmission. Like I said, give me another day or two to charge all these batteries, and hopefully it's back on the road. Scared me. Everything that happens right now, I think the shop's gonna burn down. And that's not, I don't wanna be a fear monger like a lot of people are with EVs these days. It's not real. Like, it's basically impossible without saltwater ingress to cause problems with these cars. But right now, I am a little worried because this is very old tech, and those resistors kept burning up on that Vectrix. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts. Not like this, oop, just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. She'll be on the big charger in no time. We're not that far away. I think so far we're through like 8 of the batteries, 6 of the batteries, something like that. 6 or 8 of the batteries are probably getting close to where they need to be. I don't have my system voltage on here, but I'll hook that back up right now, and hopefully we're getting closer to like 70 volts and a little bit more time, and we'll see our 144. Here's what I know you guys really want to see. Ooh, wow, she locked. Okay. How crazy is that? The 12 volt does do a lot of work on this car. So it is a DC-DC like I thought. There's your brake pump. You can hear it sucking the brakes down. We have a code 14 on our eco meter. Ooh, 100% charge. I don't believe you. How is that thing not done yet? All right, let's see. Source. Oh, FM, iPod, USB. All right, I'm gonna get some music. Wow. It doesn't get any stations at all. I'm gonna have to find a USB cable and hook my phone up. Now we have a code 38, that's worse. That's a code blue. It turns out that little single DIN head unit and those 6.5s and these 3s sound great together. This is actually a pretty solid little system in this car, and it was way better than I expected, honestly. Like, the car is built terribly. The audio is great. And maybe the air conditioning is great too. It might have a couple of good things going for it. And there's one more good thing going for it. That when I turned the key on for the second time, it actually tried to turn on the whole drive system. The codes disappeared and the odometer popped up instead for like 3 seconds, and then it shut back down. But it looks like it's gonna drive.